Good morning, everyone. Mr. Excellence here today at a beautiful 8:30 in the morning. We are going to do a little training video. And today what we're doing is my dad turned 81 years young today. And as he's going to go out there and hit some doors as I do a little training video. And here's how it works. I've been in the business for 30 years, and I've noticed that in the 30 years that we've been in the business, nothing has changed besides technology, and that's it. Everything else is people still want to see a person live and talking to people. So here's one thing that I've learned is that in the last 30 years, no matter what you do in real estate, you got to have a major. What is a major? A major is something that you go ahead and you're going to master. For example, you have a doctor, you got plastic surgeons, you got a dentist, you got a heart surgeon. You have different specialties. And the real estate agent comes into the business and he needs to find that specialty. And that specialty should be either door knocking, holding open house, mail outs, cold calling, something that you gotta be phenomenal and you gotta be doing it for over and over and over. So one of the things that happened to me back in 1984 when I was a young kid, I learned how to door knock. I was afraid. I didn't want to talk to people. People said door knocking was tough. So one of the things that I thought that helped me out was that if you go out and pass out flyers at the beginning, you got to get started. You got to get started and you have to go ahead and be able to do something steady. So for example, this is what I did. Right now my dad, we got a little postcard that you go ahead and you put your business card in there, and it says free market evaluation. We're not talking to people because we're playing the numbers. What do you mean by the numbers? Well, here in this neighborhood, we're in the city of Whittier, and in the city of Whittier right now, you have, for example, these homes are probably going for about $350,000. $350,000 at 3%. You're talking almost about a little over $10,000. So let's just go ahead and match up $10,000, round it off. So here's what happens. If you go ahead and you pick any given area and you just start passing out the flyers, we know that there is 365 days, 52 weeks, 24 hours a day to go out and let people know that you're in the business, to find 20 people that like you. And if you find 20 people that like you, you're going to bring in about $200,000 in gross commissions and take home about $170,000. I mean, think about this. Right now, my dad, the lots here are probably like about 50 by 125. It's early in the morning. People are still asleep. We're not talking to anybody. We're just dropping it off. So here's what happens. He's going to go for about an hour. And in 1 hour, he's going to pass out about 100 flyers or 100 little postcards. Okay, 100 postcards is not a lot, but it adds up. So here's what happens. You go ahead and you pass out 100 a day, 5 days a week. You're talking probably doing 100, 500 a week times 52. 52 times 500 is, do the math. It's a lot. And we're just going to drop them off. So as you drop them off, you pass out all these cards. Once you do the math, I mean, let's work it right now because the brain is not working. So think about this. 100, 500 a week, and where are my mathematicians? Will be what? Let's see. Mr. Excellence, as I drive here, 500 times 52 weeks is 26,000 people. Can you imagine 26,000 people? If you go ahead and you pass out 26,000 business cards, do you believe, and be honest with yourself, that 20 people will like you, 20 people will want to do business with you? And if you do, now you're making $200,000 in commissions. And that's all you have to do. You got to be consistent. You got to have a major. And that's what I'm trying to do. My major was door knocking. And the numbers are there. I mean, here you see an 81-year-old man who he's killing like a few birds with one stone. Think about that. He is getting exercise right now. If you wake up in the morning, you see a lot of people passing their dogs, and they're walking their dogs or going for a walk and everything, getting their little exercise rolling. Well, right now my dad's getting his exercise, and that's why maybe he's still very young, is because he's been helping me for almost 30 years himself. And if you think about it, he's getting his exercise. He's getting a little bit of sun rays. And whatever cholesterol that he has, he's getting rid of it, all because he's out there walking. And he's losing weight. He's losing weight. My dad probably weighs about 160 pounds. And he's just out there hustling away. So think about this. 26,000 business cards. 26,000 business cards. The cards are probably going to go in the trash. Because remember one thing. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Well, when the seller is ready, the real estate agent will appear. And you got to play the numbers. If you don't play the numbers, it's never going to happen. Most agents today, when you talk to them, you say, hey, well, what do you do? Are you going to do a little door knocking? Well, I'm thinking about it. Are you going to do a little bit of, if you really look at it, they're not doing much of anything. So they're stuck on what you call general education. And general education is really, general ed is just, you don't know what you're going to do. I've been in the business 20 years, and I still don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm thinking about it. How do people expect to be a success if they don't master one thing? So door knocking is great. You know what's interesting with door knocking, or not door knocking, but passing out flyers, is that there's no competition. Think about this. The competition is only if somebody calls. Right now, he just left a flyer. So somebody's going to say, oh, Michael Oyoque was here. Yeah, we're not interested in the trash. But if they're ready, they're going to call you. And if they call you, it's because they already accepted you. And if they accepted you, the chances of you getting the listing is going to be easier, as opposed to a mail-out program. On a mail-out campaign, the sellers get a whole bunch of cards, and then they call 3 agents, and whoever's the strongest is the one that's going to get the listing. So that's why door knocking or passing out flyers has always worked for me for the last 30 years, because there's no competition. As you can see, my dad is, he goes right through the lawns. He's wearing tennis shoes, because sometimes the lawns are a little wet. And he's just wearing a polo shirt, an Excellence polo shirt. And he's out there just staying cool. And he's going through the lawns. See, a lot of times, people will say, well, let me go ahead and go through the driveway or the streets. But no, we just go right through the lawns, drop it off, don't talk to anybody, hear the dogs bark, and just keep going on that. So that's one thing that we have to do when it comes to go out there, is you got to be consistent. And if you're consistent, you're going to make a lot of money. And passing out flyers can work anywhere. It can work on the $1 million homes. I remember hitting the $1 million homes, and people that would see me there would come out and say, very successful people, when I'm ready to list, I'm going to call you because you remind me of when I was hungry and I was trying to make it and this and that, and you have that same drive. So never be afraid. When is the best time to go out and pass out the flyers? Well, it just depends up to you. I mean, you decide when you want to pass out the flyers. If you want to go get your exercise at 6:30 in the morning, because you're not going to talk to anybody. You're not going to talk to anybody, so you decide where and when you want to go. You want to go at 10 o'clock. Today it's Saturday. It's Saturday, and with Saturday, early in the morning, it's cool, it's dry, and it's great. One thing my dad was telling me, he says, son, let's do the video because, I posted 10-minute videos of him out there in the past. And I told him, hey, Dad, I go, somebody says that it's probably just a marketing scheme and, you really don't hit the hour or the 2 hours. It says, I just put a 10-minute video and then, I turn it off and you hop on the car and we take off. So my dad says, you know what, son, let's go the whole hour. Put the video on. And that way they can see that I can do an hour. He says, if you want to do 2 hours, let's go. And I says, no, Dad, just 1 hour is good. We just want to get everybody to go ahead and continue. But anyways, as we talk, and again, this is all a raw training as we go. I am on the Hummer. My dad is out on the streets. And we are in the beautiful city of Whittier, West Whittier side. But let's talk real estate. Let's talk shop. We all come into the business and we all come in scared. Everybody is scared to go ahead and be out there and get into the business. Nobody knows you. How do we find business? What do we do? Back when I started in the business, there was 2 guys that tried the real estate and they didn't make it. After a year, they said, Miguel, we hear that you're going to get into the real estate business. And I says, yeah, I'm thinking of doing that. And they says, don't do it. It's a waste of time. We tried it for a year. It doesn't really work. Now, if I would have listened to them, I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't have had a spectacular 30-year career doing this. But it's great. I mean, a lot of times, I'm sure when you decided to get into the real estate business, your parents, your friends, your relatives probably said, you know what, you're not going to make it, get a real job and everything. I'll tell you, my last job that I had and my last paycheck that I got like that from a job was back when I was in Jack in the Box. And that was back in 1984. After that, I haven't seen a check, and it's been commissioned ever since, and it's been great. It's been a great ride on that. As we see my dad, he keeps going straight. Let's see what he's going to do. He's looking at the streets. He's going to go pass out the flyer and everything. What I'm going to do is I see a man over here, and I know sometimes they don't want to be caught on film, so I'll raise the window, and that way he doesn't see that we're filming him or anything. So we go. So as my dad goes and we talk business, people say, Mike, you're not going to make it. But if you go ahead and you listen to people, you're never going to make it yourself. So again, let's do the numbers here. How hard can it be to get up early in the morning, throw on some shorts, throw on a cap, don't talk to anybody, and pass out the flyers? Just pass them out. Pass them out. I hear people complaining, saying, oh, you know what, Mike, that passing out is chicken, chicken shit, we door knock and this and that. Well, let's play the numbers. If you door knock, you're going to get more results. Yes, you are. But you're going to go at a slower pace. You're going to hit. Probably about 20, 15 doors will open for every 100. You know, it's not like 1984 when I got in, that if you knocked on 100 doors, 60, people would open the door and say hello. Um, Today they just don't want to open the doors anymore. People are afraid. I remember when we used to walk to school as a kid, for a mile and a half, it wasn't a problem. And today, if our kids go in the front yards, we have a fit. So times have changed, but prospecting hasn't. See, people will say, "Well, Mike, what do I pass out? What do I pass out?" Well, if you pass out just your business card and you leave it at the door, people are going to see your name. And when they see your name, it's unreal. I mean, it's perfect. I mean, the only competitors out there are the people, the tree service guy and the guy that buys gold and everything. Agents just don't want to master the passing of the flyers. They don't want to master it. Why? Because they're scared. And and look at this. My dad, his English is broken. Um, his English is broken, and all of a sudden, he doesn't need any skills. He's just passing them out. Just passing them out. Look at as he goes. 81 years old. So anybody that says it cannot be done, it's nonsense on that. Let me give him a little signal. Yeah. I gave him the signal to go on this street now. So here we are. How many years in the business? You've been in the business 0 days. You've been in the business 10 years, 20 years. It's never too late to start passing out the flyers. People need to sell. People need to buy. Think about this. A lot of people will go ahead and say, they're never going to sell. But then all of a sudden, a family member passes away, there's a job transfer, there's a marriage, there's a divorce. Think about that. All those people need a real estate agent. And a lot of people have no plans. They have no plans to ever move. For example, this house here, you could probably talk to the owners and they'll say, they're going to take me out on a coffin, and that's okay. But then what happens is this. Husband comes home and says, I just got laid off. I can't make the house payments. And all of a sudden, what happens? The seller is ready, and the real estate agent will appear. Or another thing is this. Probably in this home, there's another a kid that's been saving his money, wanting to buy a house, and they're living with mom and dad. And all of a sudden, they get a card and they say, hey, maybe this guy can help me. And all of a sudden, business is generated. A lot of things can happen, but a lot of us, we don't see it. We don't believe it. We don't think that it's going to give us results. Let me tell you one thing. Anybody who passed out a lot of cards during the Great Depression of the 2000s, like 2007 till about 11 and 12, and you didn't get any results, don't worry about it. Remember, consumer confidence was at the all-time low. People didn't care about buying a house. They were just trying to survive. So a lot of people will say, Mike, I tried it, I didn't get any results. Well, that's true. Think about this. If you pass out 26,000 cards and consumer confidence is down, you probably will make maybe one sale or maybe even none. But guess what? Consumer confidence is up. Housing shortages is up. Interest rates are down. People are feeling more comfortable. People want to buy. So you pass out those same 26,000 people, then all of a sudden, boom, the results are different. All of a sudden now, you are probably generating 10, 15 deals a year, and now you're making a living. Now you're making a living, but you cannot stop. You cannot stop. America is stops in everything. You know, I had people go ahead and hear and say, "Oh, so and so got a listing, passing out flyers or door knocking," and they say, "Oh, that's great," but then they don't do it. Even the individual themselves, the agent will say, Mike, I got a listing appointment, and they'll never go back and pass out flyers again. And then I'll say, why didn't you go back? He says, well, I thought I got lucky, and I didn't think it would work again. So one of the things I tell people, the more you're out there, the people say, how do you spell luck? And they'll say L-U-C-K, and I says, no, it's W-O-R-K. The harder you work, the luckier you get. And that's really the bottom line. And right now, as my dad is out there and I'm sitting here in the car just filming, we're actually working hard because if you think about it, we're putting out the cards out there. Okay, windows going up because we got a family coming in that's walking and we don't know if they want to be on film. So all of a sudden we go and we continue. You know, I made it big in real estate. Made a lot of sales. I had 18 Century 21s, had the most in California. Lost them. You know, the brand was taken away. And then all of a sudden now we're working on the Excellence brand. And we're 40 offices strong. And, you know, it's been a roller coaster, a high and a low. But I never concentrated. People tell me, Mike, how did you make it? How did you come back up? Well, I came back up because I started doing what I did at the beginning. Pass out flyers, talk to people, let people know that business is still out there. And as long as you go ahead and you let people know, the business will take care of itself. You know, they say that an apple a day will keep the doctor away. You know, I've always thought that 100 flyers a day will keep the creditors away. And it's true. It became a reality for me. And everything worked out really, really good. And, you know, I've owned the best stuff in the world. I've been to the best places in the world. And I've enjoyed all the gifts that life can give us, all because I was very consistent passing out flyers like this. You know, I used to take my dad out for an hour, and I would get one side of the street, and he'd get the other side, and we would do 100 each. And can you imagine 100 each? We were doing about 52,000 cards a year. And sometimes when we were up to 200 doors each, you know, we were doing almost 100,000 cards. Now, if 100,000 cards are out in a year, I mean, 40, 50 people got to call you. They have to call you. And if they call you, man, oh man, life is great. Commissions are great. Business is good. See, he says hello to the local dogs. They bark. Goes up to the house, drops it off, comes down, waves at the dogs. See, I know the system. I already know the system. We've been doing it for many years. And he just goes to the next one. How hard can this be? You want to lose 50 pounds? Get out here and pass out and make a 6-figure income while you're out there passing out the flyers. So we've been going at it for about half an hour already. And I could see that he's running halfway in the flyers. He took about 102 postcards with the flyers, with the cards, and he's just passing them away. See, I believe there's so much money to be made in real estate. Every home that's hit has its own unique way of looking. Even though they're tract homes, they are out there, different. And inside, there's a different family. And those families, the fact that they're here in America, they want to succeed. They want to succeed. The person that has a carport wants at least a one-car garage. The one that has a one-car garage wants a two-car garage. In the two-car garage, they want a three-car garage. And the one that has a 3-bedroom, 1 bath wants 2 baths. And so on, so on. They want a 2-story. And then when they get old, the knees give up and they want to get rid of the 2-story. So business is always going to be there. The problem is this, that when the market gets better, a lot of agents come into the business and they grab whatever they can. And then when the market gets bad, they all leave the business. But the one that stays in the business, if they can stay consistent, oh my, they are going to make a lot of money and they are going to succeed, because that's just the way the business goes. How do you feel, Gregorio?
Bien.
¿Te sientes bien?